Here we are. Hasn't even been 3 months yet. We're there. We're 4 days away, right? So you look at the news and you have every reason to be panicking right now. Originally, when I had posted and I made a video and a blog post on it, Goldman Sachs, I think, was saying the odds of recession were like 45%, JP Morgan around 30 something percent. Those numbers have increased by a lot of these top firms up to 60% now. So are we heading towards a recession? I think it's unavoidable. We still have not felt the pinch financially, but it's going to come. It's going to come. We're almost at the end of April. Come May, June, you're really going to see those prices skyrocket, right? We've already seen that some online companies have a tariff surcharge on it. We're seeing the effects. Trump is now fighting against Harvard. He just says they're going to make them a political organization, I guess for the tax reasons and everything else, because he's trying to cut off their funding. Harvard is saying no. What does that do? How would that affect you? Okay. I saw a video yesterday where there was an undocumented immigrant in his car. Supposedly everything was in order with his immigration attorney, and ICE came in and broke the windows to his car to get inside. We're seeing lawyers being stopped at the airport. No matter what, they're being stopped, asking to go through their phones. At this point, I will tell lawyers, send your phone over, send your computer, whatever, transportation, FedEx, whatever it is, so that there's nothing for them to see. Now, my question is simple. Has anything improved financially? And this is what I don't understand. If you research how many recessions have been caused by Republicans versus Democrats, and how many jobs have been created by Republicans versus Democrats, you're going to be shocked at the numbers. So I sincerely do not understand that unless you're part of that 1%, that you vote against your own self-interest. There's just no logic to it. Now, I have been saying, and I'm going to say it again, chaos creates political instability, which creates financial instability. We are in the midst of chaos. We're seeing the reactions politically, and we're seeing the actions now financially. What would make you think that if we were not going to be surrounded by chaos and there was going to be political battles where nothing gets done, how did you not tie that in to you? This is why I say chaos, political instability, financial instability, and voting against your self-interest. If you think getting rid of all the immigrants was a good idea, maybe, but it's going to affect the economy. If you think all these firings are a good idea to trim the fat, no one's denying that the government is heavily in debt and we need to find a way out of it. But going back to 1950s manufacturing, that's not the answer. Everywhere you look around, money is just flying out the door, flying out the window. Applications for colleges in Canada have gone up from US students. All my years in education, I never met anybody who was planning to go to college in Canada. Why would they do that now? And by the way, if they go to Canada, what do they take with them? They take their money. When I wrote a blog and I did a video, maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, on the issue of tourism, I said it was 44 billion, more or less. Now those numbers have jumped to 100 billion. And remember, we have the Ryder Cup for you golf fans out there. We have the Olympics. All this is going to even potentially, if it goes wrong, if it goes sideways, it's going to be more money lost. Now they're targeting college students, right? If you wrote something generically in the school newspaper, they come and they pick you up in the middle of the street in plain clothing and they hustle you away, and it takes days to figure out where you are. So now this has affected some of the universities I've gone to. FIU down in Miami, I see that I think 5 students were already being picked up, and now the students are reacting. Again, is that good for the economy? Foreign students not coming to the country. I forgot the numbers because I posted it, but again, it's somewhere like 40 or 50 billion that they contribute to the economy. So you have 100 billion in tourism, 50 billion in students, 150 billion out the door, just like that. This is why I keep saying not only do you have to be prepared, but that you're going to be, maybe we're not going to call it a tax, but it is a tax. Nickel to dime you to death. The states are going to lose revenue. 11% is more or less what each school district gets. Could be higher, could be lower, of course, higher or lower, depending on the area. 11% from the Department of Education. That's an 11% hole in, let's just say, every district. If the students are leaving to another country, if the students that are here are getting kicked out, I've taught at universities where there's a lot of students here that are student visas. You think they're going to come back? When they're here, what do? They rent a place, they get a car, they spend money. All that is going out the door. So my question is, you didn't see the writing on the wall? Have you ever been anywhere in chaos where things worked smoothly? That's contradictory. You can't have chaos and something being smooth and working efficiently at the same time. It is impossible by definition. And yet, to think we weren't going to have chaos this time around. You really thought they were eating the cats and dogs? You really thought he was going to lower the price of eggs? So, what if the price of eggs goes up? You can't afford anything else. The sad part is once the prices go up, they ain't coming back down. So, these are long term effects. So this is why you vote against your self-interest. When you don't look at something from the angle of how does it affect me? You're going to vote, everybody likes to argue, oh, I'm not sheep, I'm not sheep, this and that, I'm the wolf, I'm the wolf pack leader. Really? You just vote for your party because that's who they put out in front and that means that's the person I have to vote for? That's the whole analysis of your voting? Then you are sheep. You should vote for the better candidate, not for the one that they put in front of you who happens to have a label that is the same label you have. That's just the way it works. Would you do that with your dentist? Why not go with your dentist who has the same label as you politically, but he's no good as a dentist, but he's got the same label, right? So what? We're the same party. We take care of each other. Why? Because it's going to hurt like hell when you go to the dentist. So you're going to go to the best dentist. You're not going to go to the one that has a specific label and falls into a specific category other than he's a damn good dentist. And you would do the same thing with the lawyer. If you're in the middle of a custody case, you're going to hire the lawyer that, we were on the same page on like a lot of different stuff, politically and stuff like that. We all agree on the same thing. Meanwhile, you'll never see your kids again. That's what's voting against your self-interest are. You would never run your household or run your business the way this country is being run right now. You just wouldn't. And you wouldn't because you know that chaos doesn't work. Firing everybody. I read one poor lady was months away from her full pension and retirement, working for the federal government since her 20s. Her pension was $6,000 a month. They fired her, Doge, and their infinite wisdom and excellent work that they do, and that's sarcastic, by the way. They just said, "Oh, you're fired because poor reviews." Excellent reviews, of course, all the way. We're tired of reading those stories already, right? Her pension is now down to $3,000. Where do you get the other $3,000? There's no way I could make $3,000 in budget cuts. If I got rid of my car and I got rid of my camper, I'd still and rid of golf, I'd still be more than $2,000 short. So where would I come up with 3,000? Where can I make $3,000 more to make up the difference? By the way, she's disabled. That's another thing that she mentioned. She said she's not only older, but she's disabled, so it's going to make finding a job difficult. Now she goes sell her house, and I tend to do research as much as I can when I'm buying property or land. If I find out that that was her, you think I'm going to offer her the full price that she's asking? I'm coming in way below. So that, of course, that lowers the property values in that neighborhood. But even if it doesn't, even if it's just one house, it affects her. Where is she going to get the money to make up the difference? She's not. It's just that simple. No one can find $3,000 just like that in a part-time job to make up the difference. It's not going to happen, especially if you're older and you're disabled. So as we sit here, we're at the point right now that we just don't know. Economists are saying recession, maybe, hopefully. We're now shooting for a recession. That's what we want because we don't want to see what comes after that. And yet, that's where we are because people voted against their own self interest. All the information was out there. Was this a truthful person? If he's not truthful, and you know he's not, what would make you believe that everything else he's saying is truthful? It's like that old thing that we always say in the law. You can't really say that in court, but say, are you lying? Were you lying then or were you lying now? If there's no honesty, why believe that the price of eggs are going down? Why believe that the cats and dogs are being eaten? Why believe that he's going to resolve all the issues of the economy? It's not even a chainsaw anymore that Doge is taking to the federal government. These are grenades that they're throwing at the federal government. It is beyond. I don't know what to tell you. I could get into the Abrego Garcia issue where they're now ignoring a court order and people, oh, there's no constitutional crisis. When the executive branch isn't enforcing the law, which is that's what their job is to do, then we have a constitutional crisis. Now, here's the part I tell you I don't know. I don't know how far this is going to go. I don't know when this is going to end. I don't know how long the long term effects will be. Nobody does. We know even from reading and just guessing and using common sense and looking at history, this could have an effect easily of 10 years economically, right? Um, we just don't know how far this is going to go. I do believe, and I'm not a doom and gloom guy, that however it ends, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well if Trump stays in office, and it's not going to end well if Trump has to leave office because he's impeached. It's the lesser of two evils, and they're both pretty damn evil. The consequences financially could be rough. And if there's one thing I know after living in this country, born and raised, 53 years, practicing bankruptcy law for more than 2 decades and everything else, we've had our little ups and downs financially, right? But we always get over it. No big deal. Some things we couldn't control. In the 70s, I was too young, but we had the fuel crisis when Jimmy Carter was in office. In the 80s, the interest rates were skyrocketing, right, during the Reagan administration. We had the mortgage foreclosure, the Great Recession during 2005. It started in 2008, but, that all those years leading up to it. But these are things that we kind of, we just get through it one way or another. But this we don't know. We are literally in uncharted territory. And the only thing I could say is just be prepared as best as you can, whatever that means. Everything changes, everything is unique. Your situation is different than mine. Mine is different than the guy next door and everything else. I do know, and I've already seen those numbers and those articles, people are just holding back. They're not vacationing. They're not spending money. They're not doing this. It's a sit back and wait attitude. And unfortunately, that's what we are. And by the way, that's just a milder form of chaos where you're like, I'm not going to go to Home Depot and do this. If your refrigerator breaks, you're going to spend $2,000 on a refrigerator. Maybe you can get it fixed for $150. My refrigerator's fine, but I could tell you, excuse me, if it broke, probably go with a $150 option for now. Write it out. And so that's where we are. Now, how far along? Your guess is as good as mine. My only concern is being prepared now to ride out the wave. I was already thinking of doing a video saying we might be getting close in the next few months where we stop paying creditors. And then how do we deal with that? Save that money. We'll deal with the lawsuits later when they come. You got to live for the moment. And so maybe that video's coming up in a few months. We'll wait and see. For now, all I'm going to say is next time, vote for your self interest. Just really that simple. Is that presidential candidate going to make the economy better that helps you? Or is it going to make it worse? Is that candidate going to create chaos, which creates political instability, which creates financial instability? Then that probably shouldn't be your candidate. Even if you guys fall in this same little box, same little label, same little category, voting party over country, over your own self interest, for lack of a better term, that's idiotic. I am not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. I want the best person in office to make me the most money and to have the best of everything so that the country is running smoothly. Who they are, what they look like, none of that means anything to me. Because what I care about is that they get the job done. And we're not seeing that. And next time you go to the voting booths, and we got this with the midterm elections, just flip the script. Would you want this person to be your dentist, even though you know they're not the best dentist, or the best lawyer, or the best plumber, or landscaper, or teacher for your kids? If the answer is no, then just because you fit in the same label, same category, maybe you shouldn't vote for them. And not voting is like voting for them. So keep that in mind, because as we lose trillions, more than 6 trillion in the stock market, and I think the average is about $8,000 that has been lost in 401ks, and the price of everything is going up. And these tariffs could cost us anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000 more per household per year. Then ask yourself, why did you vote for this person again? Why did you do it? Keep that in mind as we buckle up. Take care.